I'm Zach. This is the Haunted Mask. I'm filling in for Keith and Trevor because they fucking tied me up. It's about a girl who gets an ugly mask. Her name's Carly Beth, and she's 11, and she's scared of everything. She likes to get scared. No, she doesn't like to get scared. They like to scare her.
Get it right.
It's Halloween, and she wants to scare everybody because that always works. You know, hey, I'm a terrified little bitch. Let me scare people. That'll make me not terrified. She doesn't even get a chance to do that because her little brother scares the shit out of her by dressing up as a duck because she read that Greek story and has flashbacks, or she watched or she watched Howard the Duck and.
It's a much more
what
acceptable
Greek story.
I don't know. You guys pulled me out of like reading at home. I was reading.
What the fuck duck stories were you reading?
I was reading the Greek tragedy shit, and you fucking dragged
about
me.
ducks.
Oh,
I didn't get a chance to finish reading it because you dragged me over here and told me to read fucking Goosebumps because that's a better literary choice.
What
than
is
Zeus.
quack in Greek?
Quack?
Quack?
He was reading Platypus Rex.
Platypus Rex.
Hey, you guys read Goosebumps. But then she decides, I know how I'm going to scare them. I'm going to go get a scary mask because that is so much scarier than any other fears and my phobia. You guys didn't even tie me up well. She gets $30 and I don't know, I've lost it. There was a talent show in here, I don't care. So she goes to a Halloween shop, but it's closed, but it's not because she knocks. And the guy lets her come in and she looks at the masks and she wants a scary mask. She goes and she finds some scary ass masks. There's like a full room full of ugly fuckers. The guy who let her into the shop and let her walk into the back of the store is like, no, you shouldn't be back here. And these masks aren't for sale. And she says, please.
No.
Please.
No.
Please?
Okay.
She decides that the first person she's going to scare is her brother, who scared her by pretending to be Howard the Duck. Or the Affleck Duck. I don't know, whatever year this is. She puts on the mask, gross in there, and it smells bad, but it's scary. And she scares the hell out of her brother with it. And apparently, like, it alters her voice so she sounds like the boogeyman. And she's like, hi, I got you. But it's like, I got you, bitch. She tries to take the mask off, and it doesn't quite come off, but then it comes off because fake scare. She goes to scare her mom with it, and she's kind of scared by it. And then, for some reason, her mom shows her this, like, plaster of Paris sculpture that she made of her head, the daughter's head, because I love you, and I wanted to make a face for you. I don't get it. So she goes to scare people. Basically, that's the whole fucking thing of the book, is she just wants to scare people. And she tries, and she scares people, and she scares people, and she scares people. The end. Am I done? She goes to scare two boys that she thinks are the boys that were tormenting her. Their names are Chuck and Steve. They're the ones that threw the lunch tray and put a worm in her sandwich and pretended that they're tarantulas that got loose. They're assholes. And she wants to scare them. So she thinks that she's scaring them, and she jumps out, and they're like, no! And then it turns out it's not them, and their mom comes up and she gets mad at Carly for scaring them, and Carly starts getting really angry. But she's like, it's filled with rage the more that the mom tells her, like, you should be ashamed of yourself. And she starts like, I'm gonna tear this woman apart. I'll chew her to bits. I'll rip her spleen out through her cunt. Takes the plaster of Paris head that her mom painstakingly made. She spent hours in art school making this.
Why is her mom in art school?
I don't know.
Sorry we asked.
God. Why would I know? She takes the plaster of Paris head, and she puts it on a broomstick, and she's gonna pretend like it's her head. I guess it's really lifelike. I guess her mom made it out of plaster of skin or something. And she goes to scare the shit out of her best friend. And then she keeps asking her, like, where'd you buy the mask? Where'd you get it? Can I touch it? And because Carly is a roid-raging little bitch, she, like, freaks out and starts trying to strangle her best friend because apparently the mask makes her angry.
The mask is haunted?
So they try to go trick-or-treating, and Carly Beth keeps scaring people by yelling terrible things at them. Like, she's got, like, the mask has Tourette's or something. She says, I'll eat you, I'll rip your heart out, stuff like that. I mean, sounds like the coolest fucking mask in the world to me, but, you know. She scares more kids and finally goes to scare one of their names. Wait, did you read this book?
No, I was paying attention.
You read this book?
No.
You read this book, and you're making me read this. You read this book, and you're making me do your goddamn review for you.
We did not read this fucking book.
You read this fucking book.
We didn't read this.
So she scares Chuck and Steve, and they get scared, and then they're like, haha, it's you, Carly Beth, and she's like, no, this is Carly Beth's head. on the stick. See how lifelike it looks because it's plaster of Paris. And then the head starts yelling, help me. And that freaks everybody out and they run like hell. And then she drops the broomstick and the head disappears. Like it rolls away and she can't find it. And yeah, and then finally like, okay, we've had enough. I'm gonna go home and take the mask off. And she's like, oh, it can't come off. It's like her face now. And she feels really angry and terrified at the same time because the mask is pumping steroids into her eye sockets.
Wait, the mask is haunted? Yeah. Where did Zach go?
Superman with a beard. How did
What
you
the fuck just happened?
And she's like, oh my god, I'm gonna run back to the party store because that's where I got the mask. And she runs back there and it's closed. Of course, it's closed until she knocks and then it's open, just like the first time. So he says he can't take it off, and she's like, please take it off, I know you can. And he says, I can't, and he says that it's not a mask, it's the real face. And he says that I call them the unloved. They're real faces, I made them in my lab. They weren't ugly in the beginning, they were beautiful. I don't believe you. And they were alive, but they were apparently just faces. He made disembodied faces like that thing in Doctor Who or whatever I don't know. He grew faces in a lab and they were pretty, but now they're ugly, and he calls them the unloved because he's original. Occasionally somebody wanders into the back room, one of my faces finds a new home, so apparently he doesn't do a good job of keeping them from possessing people. Apparently his strategy for telling them to stop possessing people is to try and sell you a gorilla mask instead, which is a shitty substitute for a Halloween mask. Esoteric shit about you need a symbol of love to take it off, but he doesn't. And he says, I can say no more because apparently the masks that he created in his lab using his technology won't let him. And the masks start freaking out and he yells at her to run, and all the faces on the wall start blinking and breathing, and then they start floating after her. Apparently they need bodies to live, but they can float on their own through the city. And so yeah, they flew in a single file line, one long chain of throbbing, jabbering heads. That sounds really pornographic. I hate you, R.L. Stein. Because apparently the one mask on her isn't enough to possess her. They all have to possess her. I don't know. They're gonna like attach themselves to her hands and her feet. Her 11-year-old logic like comes up with the idea that she needs a symbol for love because the guy said it, and she decides that stupid mask is not the mask, the head, the plaster Paris head, is the thing that is a symbol of love. Because her mom made it because she loves her. Are you even rolling the camera? You're just making me talk. So she's running around trying to find this ugly plaster Paris head that apparently is big enough for her to fit her own head in, because that's convenient. She picks up the head and she's like, ha! I found my symbol of love! Go away! And the other floating masks look at her like she's an idiot, because she is. And then she suddenly gets the bright idea to put it on her head. Like, wear a mask on top of a mask. I feel like there's some metaphor in here that I don't care about. And somehow this enables her to take off the mask. And it finally comes off. Because she put her real face on or something. I don't know. The guy said that once you take the mask off, you can't ever put it back on again, or it'll never come off again. The symbol of love thing only works once. I don't know why he told her that, because he also told her that he couldn't help her, and then he helped her. She takes off the mask, and then she goes home, finally, because she's free, and her little brother yells at her, oh my god, take off the mask, you're so ugly. She's like, oh my god, it's still on my face, haha, I just got you. Because she's still a scared little bitch. Even though she went through this whole thing to be scary and not be scared anymore, she's still scared. And she learned nothing. And then she throws the mask down and goes to hug her mom, and hangs out with her mom, and then her little brother runs in and goes, hey, Carly Beth, look at how scary I am in your mask. And now the brother's possessed by the mask, and...
So where on your penis would you touch the book?
What? I don't... Is this what you do? I don't know. I would just...
It's how I read.
This is... Yeah, this is what it felt like.